welcome back to Boots and Bounty Homestead. I'm going to show you a one skillet, one serving breakfast. If you are maybe by yourself, or if there is something that maybe you're eating a little bit differently than the rest of the family or something like that, this is a recipe that can do just one serving if you would like. You could do this in a bigger skillet and then divide it up. I'm sure at some point you could actually do it in a casserole if you wanted to, if you needed to do it on large quantities. But I'm going to do it, since I am by myself, in just a 8-inch cast iron skillet. And so this is just going to be for me, and it'll give you ideas of something that you could fix for the family. And like I said, you could do it in like a bigger skillet or a casserole dish or something like that. With a casserole dish, you would probably have to put it in the oven on 350 for probably about 40 minutes or so, kind of like you're making a quiche. But this is going to be kind of like it's kind of like an egg pancake kind of thing. Almost like an omelet. You could actually fold it in half and do like an omelet kind of thing if you want. But this is actually, I found this recipe of sorts. I was wanting like a single serve breakfast idea, and I come across a lot of different recipes that I kind of combined into one. And this actually came about being derived from an Israeli dish. I believe you pronounce it shakshuka. And so that's where I kind of formed my own recipe using that direction, I guess you could say. So I'm going to show you how I put this together, what ingredients I use just from what I have on hand, and give you some other options of what you can use. So our basis is going to be egg, so we will do that towards the end. First of all, we are going to go ahead and preheat our black skillet. You can use either olive oil, coconut oil, butter, whatever kind of fat you want to use to keep things cooking and from sticking. Your skillet should be seasoned well enough that it's not going to stick, and you're going to find out with this recipe if it is or not. So what I'm going to do first, we've got to preheat the skillet, because one of the essential things with cooking with cast iron is you've got to have stuff hot. You've got to have the skillet hot when you put stuff on there. If not, if you put it on there cold and then it heats up, things tend to stick. And in my experience, it doesn't matter how well you have it seasoned. So we're going to heat it up first and go ahead and let our oils be heating up with it. I'm going to use olive oil today as my fat of choice. While that's heating up, we're going to go ahead and prep the next few things, and I'll show you what those are. Our first ingredient is going to be cherry tomatoes. I do have to purchase these at the moment because we are in the middle of winter. We don't have readily available cherry tomatoes. So with the cherry tomatoes here, I'm just going to cut them in half lengthwise. You can slice them, dice them, do them however you want to. At least cut them once to get those juices flowing so you can cook them in the oil. Our pan's starting to get hot, so I'm going to go ahead and turn it down while I'm talking. The next ingredient we're going to use, I've actually had this in the refrigerator for over a month. If you guys have greens or any kind of lettuces, spinach, anything like that that you need to keep for a long time, I have a video on keeping lettuce, I believe is what it's called. I'll throw it up right here. And this is mustard that we planted out front, and I harvested this before all of the ice and snow, and it's crunchy. It is just like I picked it a while ago and it was still cool outside. So I've got all of this mustard here that is about a month old, and I need to be using it. So I am going to just kind of roll it up, and then you can take scissors or a knife and just, slice it, chop it, dice it, however you want to. Because once it goes in the skillet, and yes, I am going to use all of this because this is going to shrink down to almost nothing. You can put it in the skillet and it's going to cook down. So let's get started on the tomatoes and get them in the oil. And it looks like this is going to be hot enough. So let's cut the tomatoes up, cut the greens up, and you can use any kind of greens. I just had mustard since it was what I picked it from the front bed before all of the ice and snow came through. You can use kale, you can use spinach, you can use broccoli and cauliflower leaves if you want to, any kind of greens, and it's all to your taste. Everything that you use is going to be a little bit different in taste, so it's whatever you have on hand, whatever you like. All right, let's get started on the tomatoes. Okay, so we've got the tomatoes and my greens in the skillet. They are cooking down to absorb some of that oil. We're going to let them reduce down probably about a quarter to half of what they are. Everything is going to get really mushy, kind of, sort of. Let everything sweat down a little bit. So while this is cooking, and it's probably not going to take 5 minutes, we're going to go ahead. I used 2 eggs. We're going to go ahead and crack those eggs in a bowl and get them beaten up. We're going to go ahead and add some salt and pepper. Now you can flavor this any way you want. I'm going to add my trio, which is oregano, thyme, and rosemary. And then I'm going to put in garlic powder and onion powder and really spice this up to give it some flavor, and salt and pepper, and all of that is going to come together and really make these flavors pop. So I'll show you that, and I'll get cleaned up here. Now at this point, if you want to, you can cover it and let it cook all together on one side for about 5 minutes. You can actually cut it off and cover it. Or you can flip it kind of like an omelet if you want. I am going to kind of let mine cook about halfway, and then I'm going to cut it off. I'm not going to flip it as of right now. I don't think I flipped it last time I made it. Okay, so this is just going to sit in the skillet and cook low for just a few minutes. You don't want your heat any higher than medium because it's going to burn on the bottom. You want this just a slow, low cook so you can get those eggs cooked thoroughly. If you're worried about cooking eggs or anything like this, you can flip this if you want. It's going to be kind of hard because of all the tomatoes and greens that we have in it. And the eggs don't always touch each other, so that's why it may break apart. So we're just going to let it sit here and cook, and I'll show you. It's starting to get done around the edges. It's starting to get done around the edges here, and the middle is what I'm watching to make sure that it gets done. Alright guys, you see it's cooked around the edges. The middle is still kind of translucent. I'm going to cut the eye off, cover it with this clear top that doesn't fit anything so I can still see through it. I'm going to watch it just to make sure that middle is going to get cooked. But with cooking in cast iron, it stays hot because, I mean, it's a metal skillet. It's literally iron. It's metal. So it's going to hold the heat for a really long time. That's why I cut the eye off, so the bottom doesn't get cooked anymore. Now at this point, when it starts getting done around the edges and not done in the middle, you can either, if you want to, you can pop it in the oven, or you can flip it. You can take a spatula and flip this over and cook the other side. If you want to, that's totally up to you. Or we can do like we're doing here, just letting it sit here and set and let its own heat cook all the egg parts. And it looks like it's doing a really good job. The middle is almost done. I'm going to give this like 5 more minutes just sitting here resting. I'll show you what it looks like as soon as it gets done, and we'll do the finish up touches together, and I'll show you what it looks like. Alright guys, don't fall. It's been about 5 minutes, and let me show you what it looks like because the eggs are now done. We're going to do the finished toppings and get it plated up. So here is our final result. Everything is cooked in the middle. The outside, it does have just a little bit of crispy edge, but that is okay. It's not burnt or anything, not overcooked. Now, the good thing about this is you can actually eat this out of the skillet if you want. If you are by yourself and want to eat out of the skillet, you can do that. If not, we're going to find out how non-stick this skillet really is. So, I'm just going to loosen up the edges, and we are going to plate it up. Yay! I did it! Now, for our topping to go on here, all I like to do is put some shredded cheese on it. And we do shred our own cheese from block cheese because we don't eat the flour coating that's on the bag cheese. You guys that watch me should know that by now. Okay, so we've got about 1/3 of a cup of cheese. You can, do whatever your diet allows or however you like it. And this is just going to melt onto our little omelet skillet dish of sorts. I don't even know what to call this. But this is our single serve breakfast. And it didn't take, other than the wait time, it didn't take me maybe 10 minutes to put it all together and just allow it to sit and cook for 5 minutes. So 15 minutes tops. And it's good to go. Okay guys, so there you go. An easy one skillet. You can actually do a one dish because you wouldn't even need a plate if you eat it out of the skillet. Kind of breakfast, single serve. Like I said, now you can see, you can do it in a bigger skillet with more ingredients. You can do it in a casserole dish. You could bake it if you want. But this is just a thin omelet. Looks like a tostada on there of sorts. You can do any kind of vegetables you want. Just like I said, from what I gathered and kind of put together and created this recipe myself, was just the tomatoes and greens with the eggs on it, and then of course all of the herbs and spices. This is a good way if you're getting into herbals and you are needing a specific herb for a specific problem. You can actually incorporate those herbs into a dish like this and be able to partake in those and get those working in your body. Like the garlic and the rosemary could be antibiotics if you need those. Oregano's an antibiotic. They're antibacterial, antifungal. I mean, so this is going to really boost your immune system, really help your body to fight off whatever it's needing to fight off, or just to keep it healthy. Because like I said in my herbal video, that prevention is key. This is how you start with your herbals and start with the health of your body, is in the kitchen. So go out and throw whatever you want to in here. When it comes summertime and you've got all these vegetables coming in, this is one of those dishes that you can put peppers in, you can put cucumbers in, you can put zucchini in, you can just whatever's coming in the garden. You can throw it all together, slap some eggs on it, and there you go. Easy as that. Whether you're feeding 1 or whether you're feeding 10 or 12, you just make it however it's easiest for you, whether it's in the skillet or whether it's in a dish. I can bring you that recipe later on if you would like for me to. Whenever we get close to summertime and we've got vegetables running out of our ears, we can do a recipe like that, and I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. So I'm going to go enjoy my breakfast now, and I hope you enjoy this. Let me know some ideas of stuff that you would throw in this dish and what you would do differently. So until next time guys, we'll see you later. Bye guys.